Oh. Hello everyone. I hope you can all hear me well. Let me just test this real quick. Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. I think everything is working. Please let me know in the chat if you're having issues or something like that. If you can't hear me, just let me know. All right, so we're going to talk about the GPT-4 OmniSolver. We're going to actually test it out. This is really cool. It works really well. You can select from a bunch of roles, both for the user. It really works wonderfully. I was actually surprised how well it works. I'll put the link in the description. What is it? Yes. What is it is that it's a task solver. It's like a universal task solver. So let's just show it real quick. For example, custom role. Let's enter a Python. Let's say a web developer. Actually, for the user role, let's say aspiring web app builder. You have to be kind of careful with the roles so that the roles don't switch. Anyway, and then we can write in a custom role as a web developer, or there should be a web developer here. And then we're going to say, write a template. Now we're entering the task. Write a template HTML code for a chatbot using only Tailwind CSS. Tailwind is great. We can talk about that too real quick. So after you enter the task, you say enter, and let me actually grab my API key too real quick and paste it here. And then after that, it asks you, do you want to use the task specifier feature? You can come over here. The task specifier feature uses the GPT to take whatever you've entered into the task field and tries to make it more specific, tries to improve on it. It works with varying degree of success. It's up to you. Anyway, we'll leave that check mark off, and then we enter like chat turn limit. So how many times these agents are going to interact with one another? Okay. And let's start with GPT 3.5 Turbo because it's going to be fast. Then we'll switch to GPT-4. So this is a completely autonomous process. So let's just click on Start Solving Task. Are there any, my OBS saying it's disconnecting, reconnecting? Please let me know if there is any connection issues. Anyway, here we go. Like the first aspiring web app developers gives instructions. Create a basic HTML structure for the chatbot. If there are any inputs it suggests, it will be presented here. Currently none. Web developer says solution. Here's a basic HTML structure. So this creates a div, explains what it's doing. This creates a div class of chatbot. Aspiring web developer then says, this is the second round of iteration, add a text input field and send button to the chatbot template. And then here's the updated HTML structure with text input and a send button, says the web developer. Here's the updated code. And it explains we have added div elements of flex container. It explains the Tailwind CSS properties. Tailwind CSS are in line with HTML, so it makes it really super quick. It's kind of difficult to read, but you don't need to write this long CSS files or stuff like that with Tailwind. So that's why Tailwind is really cool. And it tries to inject some regular CSS, which we didn't want anyway. It says, and the next aspiring web builder says, add JavaScript code to handle user input and display chatbot responses. We can actually copy this and see what it looks like. Maybe if we were to create a index.html real quick. Paste it here and go live with it. See, there we go. I mean, it's not much currently. Oh, because the Tailwind CSS is not injected because we have to actually inject its link right up here. It didn't do that. We are dealing with GPT 3.5, remember. Anyway, and then it goes on a JavaScript code, and then it says here's updated HTML. It added style. Here we go. It actually took away the, let's see, updated HTML structure. So what should we do here? Oh, here, HTML class. So it added some JavaScript code too. Let's copy this. Where do we put this? Probably right here, I'm thinking. Right there. I hope so. And let's go live again with this. I'm using the live server starter. Oh, here we go. See? Here, how can I help you? Let's say hello. It says hello here. Sorry, I'm just a demo chatbot. So, I mean, it built a working chatbot for us. Again, if it were to say hello, then click send, it's just going to respond with I'm just a chatbot. So it's not perfect. Again, we are using GPT 3.4, but this is how it works. It really works wonderfully a lot of times, and we can try to do something else with it. Let's actually say write a template HTML code for it. Oh, and okay, so now that let's say we've solved one task, right? I've implemented so that it'll actually get saved in the chat history, I believe, right here. So I should have deleted it from the GitHub repo the previous. Anyway, I'll do that just in a minute. But when we click here, let's say let's refresh this. Gotta get my key again. See right here we have the we have all our projects that we have solved. If we click on one of them, we actually get it written right here with its settings. AI assistant role was web developer, AI user role, model was GPT 3.5 turbo, chat limit, turn limit was 5. And then here is the rest of the interactions between the two AIs. So why this is better than, let's say, like autocoder, which I had built earlier, or something like the autocoder, GPT-4 autocoder, is that these two agents, when they're working with one another, seems to do like one by one additions to the code. For example, if you're dealing with code, so it's really well explained, you know, and works well. Maybe let me zoom in real quick. Let's try again with the same, right? We can. So our custom role was aspiring web builder for the user and web developer for the AI assistant. And our instructions were create a basic HTML structure. Oh, we didn't say could be a specifier for the chatbot template using only Tailwind CSS. Let's just add that. Do we want to use the task specifier? Let's not. And again, let's go 5 and start solving the task again. So we can just test it again, and then we can try testing some other stuff shortly as well. Feel free to make suggestions in the chat. Like I said, there's a bunch of roles which you can select from. We'll talk about them. So the aspiring web builder says create the basic HTML structure for the chatbot template. Here we go. Here's our first template. Then it says add the Tailwind CSS CDN link to the HTML file. So in our first iteration, it didn't do this. So it says, so add the following link tag. It says you have to add this. It says to get access to the Tailwind without npm installing it on your system. Maybe I should change these colors. They're difficult to read. But next, the web app builder says add a container div class of. It actually even gives instructions as to what kind of Tailwind CSS inside the body tag. Here we go. And then it says add a header section to the chatbot. It's done. Add a chatbot conversation section to the chatbot template. So we can actually copy this code and test it out real quick, just like we did. Hopefully it'll work. I believe we have the chatbot. Yep. So we just have to copy the link element here. insert it under here, right here. This is the body. There we go. Header section. We again replace this. It's the div. Yeah. And then we'll move on to other examples right after this. And again, the div with this one, the chatbot conversation section. Just want to see how this looks real quick. And when we save this, it should auto update, hopefully. Yeah, here we go. Get started. See? It's a whole new one. So this is great. Let's try another example. Actually, let's, for example, select. So you can do all kinds of interesting stuff. Let's say an analyst. Let us be an analyst and let the assistant to be a Python custom role, and then Python programmer, and then enter. What is the task? Write some exciting and interesting for loops with deep recursions, whatever. And let's go 3. And right after this, we'll try the task specifier feature. So you can, this is really, the sky is the limit with this. We'll do some programming stuff and then try to do some other fun examples as well. Like I said, feel free to give suggestions in the chat if you want to give me some suggestions. Anyway, here we go. So here's a quick, says write a for loop that prints numbers. So it's, and then it says write a recursive function that calculates the factorial of a given number. So this was the first interaction, analyst and the Python programmer. And then factorial given number, see, it's now given an input, a positive integer. Solution, here's a recursive function that calculates the factorial. There we go. And then it explains what the function does. So it's really well. And after the assistant AI finishes its response, it says next request. After that, another says write a for loop that prints the first time Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so it's kind of backtracking. And we're still ongoing. Also, oh no, we're done. And if I were to run this again, I just want to say, first the thinking process initiates. Okay, and then we get this original task, specified task, and then role-playing session starts, and then we get this what do you call, status bar or something. So see the first, so now we're into the second part of the loop, so you can actually get where you are in the progress, and we only had 3. Here we go. So another fun example is, let's say we want the user to be an accountant. They're both AIs, by the way. There is no human interaction right here other than just entering the task. And then let's say the assistant is an artist, and how to change careers from an accountant to, let's say, painting. Let's try to test the task specifier feature here. When you click on task specifier feature, you get, please enter a word limit. So you can actually limit how much because GPT 3.5 in this case is going to take your task and with a special prompt return a specified task which is more detailed, hopefully more to the point to what your original request. In this case, that's why you can actually limit the number of words in it. 50 is default. And here's the specified task. Create a 10-step guide listing the necessary skills, resources, strategies an accountant must acquire and utilize to successfully transition from their current career to becoming a professional oil painter, including marketing tactics, networking suggestions, and potential income streams. Let's select 4 and click on Start Solving Task. Here we go. We started. So now we're getting into some fun examples. And then we can switch to GPT-4. Obviously, GPT-4 is going to do so much better. So original task prompt was how to change careers. Specified task prompt, in this case, is what GPT modified the original task prompt into. So accountant now then says, what is the accountant's current level of experience in painting? Accountant has been painting a hobby for several years, has taken several, but not had pursued professionally. So it asks a question. Sometimes the user and the assistant can actually flip roles. It can happen rarely, especially with GPT 3.5. The prompt specifically states, we can take a look at the prompts, inception prompts. This is the assistant inception prompt, user inception prompt. But rarely they can actually switch sides, roles. And it is given an input in this case. So the artist then says, solution. Based on the accountant's current level of experience in painting, it's so important to focus on skill building to improve their technique, develop a fairly unique style. Practice regularly. Also network with other artists. Then accountant says, what is the accountant's desired timeline for transitioning to a full-time painting career? And then it's inputting. The accountant would like to transition within the next 2-3 years. Solution. With the accountant's desired timeline in mind, it's important to create a step-by-step plan to achieve their goal. This includes setting short-term and long-term goals, building a portfolio, establishing a client base. Then accountant says, so the accountant is kind of talking himself in a third-person point of view, but the input is coming from the accountant, so that's good. What are the accountant's financial goals? Accountant would like to earn a minimum of $50,000 a year. Artist says to achieve the accountant's financial goals, it's important to develop a pricing strategy that takes into account the cost of materials, time spent on each piece, selling artwork online, exhibiting in galleries, offering commission pieces. It goes on. And then again, it says, what are some potential obstacles the accountant might face for becoming a full-time painter? The accountant is concerned about the stability of income. One potential obstacle accountant may face is the lack of steady income stream, especially in the early stages. So this is for what it's worth. We did that. Let's see, we have a suggestion. Role doctor, feeling of sickness or weakness, weight loss, fever, expert diagnosis. So, okay, so to do that, you probably say the user role can be anything, right? Let's select the custom role and we say patient. And I do want to mention before doing this, do not use this for medical advice. I just want to be the first one. I want to put this up there. This app uses the CAMEL framework to solve problems. This app uses GPT models and responses may not be accurate. Okay, I just want to mention, do not follow the advice of this system. Let me actually even, Robert, instead of that, is feeling of sickness, weakness. Feeling of muscle weakness. Let's say feeling of tired. Let's say solving the feeling of tiredness. Let's just keep it simple. So you have to enter the task in a task-like format. Like the feeling of tiredness wouldn't have been really a task, right? But solving the feeling of tiredness is a task. Do we want to use a task specifier? Let's not. Let's just go 3 times in this case. Again, please do not use this for advice, like as a doctor, as a lawyer. Do consult the professional people for that. Can I build apps using this the open source LLM GAN model? Yeah, you can actually. There's the I'm offering the code download. First of all, yeah, I'll get to that question, Moral City. Just a sec. Let's take a look at this. So, original task prompt, specified task prompt did not change because we did not select task specifier feature. So the patient says, please provide some general tips to combat tiredness. Doctor says, in addition to getting enough sleep, there are other ways to combat: regular exercise, stay hydrated, eat balanced diet, fruits, vegetables. Then patient says, can you suggest specific foods that combat tiredness? For example, food that are high in protein, eggs, nuts, lean meats, complex carbohydrates, whole grains, sweet potatoes. Foods in magnesium, foods high in magnesium, dark chocolate, avocado, for example. Can you suggest any lifestyle changes? Yes, there are. So this is good. See, it's like step by step. I haven't seen any other system do it like this clearly. I really like this, honestly. Like it's a bit like AutoGPT, but AutoGPT kind of is like talking to itself. Autocoder is like that too, in a way. But this is like, these have two completely separate prompts. It's like a conversational style. They call it role playing. Lifestyle changes is obviously meditation, yoga, improve sleep quality, regular exercise. Right. Okay. So Moral City asked, right, can I build apps using this? Yes, absolutely. You can download the code, but I've just see, this is the Camel's GitHub repo. I should put this into description, but here I'll put it in the chat. Let me know if it came through. Not sure. Oh yeah, okay, good. You can take a look at it, read through it. It's really interesting. But I actually looked at the Langchain implementation. There was a Camel role-playing autonomous cooperative agent. So this is a pretty simple implementation. Obviously, it doesn't have any of the bells and whistles that we have. This works though. Actually, it's pretty easy. In this case, like they give an example of a stock trader and a Python programmer. So take a look at this. You can, if you want to start from scratch, you can use this, or just do the code download, and you'll have this app entirely, and you can modify it any way you like. You get a whole chat history. Let me clear this test stuff, and you can deploy it to Streamlit. Really easy, and to do that, actually, you just create a GitHub repository, and then right with all the necessary files, like I did here, for example. And I'm going to actually get into the, oh, I can't manually modify the these chat history, but I can delete them. Here we go, delete this, delete this. So yeah, I forgot to mention, you can actually, you have a whole history and you can delete them. Oh, nice. Thank you, Moral City. Enjoy. Hopefully build on top of it. Just make sure to let people know that these systems are fully automated, and just give them a heads up that at the end of the day, you're dealing with AI, and especially like sensitive situations like asking advice from a doctor, things like that. You got to be careful, right? Kyler says, I'm building a biz using these technologies. I have deep technical experience in this area. Would like to connect offline. How to do that? Well, join the Discord. I'm not sure if I posted the link in the description, but let me get a link real quick. This should work right there. Can I deploy your code on Google Cloud? You'll have to modify it. So this is Streamlit app. Let me show you the code. So this actually, so if you click on the code download and you go there, there's two versions. One is main.py, which works in the terminal, which is a significant improvement on the Langchain implementation, which I got inspiration from. So this will run on the terminal. If I actually were to run this, you'll see. And the other one is a Streamlit interface, and Streamlit only deploys on Streamlit Cloud. So this is how the terminal works. I just simplified the roles. I kind of selected what I thought to be important. You can enter custom role, like available AI assistant roles, let's say Python developer, available AI user roles, let's say student, let's say coding student, right? Please enter a task, learn Python. Do you want to use text specifier? No. Right. The iteration is very nice. I agree, Robert. It really makes it work. So please enter chat turn limits. Let's just go with 3. And as we as we're going into the live stream, maybe we'll do some interesting stuff. Maybe we'll let it go with 10 rounds or something like that. So see it. Instruction. So the coding student has define a variable, assign it to Python. So now it's dealing with variables. Define a variable name version, assign it to value. Define a variable is easy, assign it to value. Are we using GPT 3.5? Oh, right here. I'm not sure which model was this set to. Oh, it's default, so it is using GPT 3.5. Anyway, so it works in the terminal as well. And to deploy the Streamlit app, you would have to create a GitHub repository with the necessary files, requirements, and such and so. The requirements are pretty easy for this. Let's look at it here. These are it. Langchain, OpenAI, term color. Term color is just to have these colorful, nice terminal outputs. Streamlit only if you're going to use the Streamlit version. Streamlit version does have the chat history and all that, and also prints the markdown, so that's nice. Once you have your repository ready, you go to Streamlit, and then you click on a new app, and then you select your repo, select your file name, do your settings, and deploy. That's it. If there is no error, it'll deploy. You can change the URL and whatnot. So keep that in mind. But don't forget to give some love to the GPT-4 OmniSolver. Let people know if you like this kind of stuff, if they'll find it useful. Thank you, Moral City. Appreciate it. So let's say, so there are all kind of like actor. Let's select the user is actor. Chef. Let's say how to cook on the movie set for the entire production team. Why not? Let's switch to GPT-4. Let's use a task specifier. So it's just going to quickly specify. So this can be anything. I mean, I just want to reiterate. I'm trying to tickle your imagination. Chef will teach actor to prepare gourmet. So look at this. So we enter this task, and then the specified task is returned to us. And we are using GPT-4, by the way. So chef will teach actor to prepare a gourmet 5-course meal on the movie set themed around the film's plot using only locally sourced ingredients and a portable kitchen setup while adhering to dietary restrictions of preference of the entire production team, ensuring a unique gastronomic experience. This is interesting. Let's go 5. It's a bit slow. We are using JSON and whatnot for chat history. Maybe that's why it can kind of be a little laggy. Anyway. Maybe I have to enter my API key. Yeah. Hopefully it should start working. We'll see. Here in a moment. Not sure what happened there. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Anyway, it's going. So, like I said, the original task was this. GPT-4 turned it into this. GPT-4 works so much better. See, sometimes this happens though. Actor says, as an AI language model, I'm unable to instruct you as I'm not an actor. Well, this is just sometimes the default return from the model. Let's hope that chef will. Okay, at least the chef is still ongoing with the theme. See, I can provide you with information, guys, how to conduct an exclusive cooking workshop for actors, teaching them to master a unique movie theme 3-course meal. Okay, plan a movie theme 3-course meal menu, input dietary preferences. See, it's including input. Dietary preferences include vegetarian, gluten-free, and daily-free options. So it gives the user AI is capable of not only of instructions but also giving inputs. This could be programming inputs or just inputs. Like here in this case, it's defining the dietary preferences or restrictions. Chef says solution to plan a movie themed 3-course meal menu that includes vegetarian, gluten-free, and dairy-free options. Consider the following menu: appetizer, red carpet roll-ups, vegetarian spring roll, says blockbuster Buddha bowls, gluten-free quinoa based, Oscar-worthy chocolate mousse. Look, this is pretty cool. You have to admit, dessert is Oscar-worthy chocolate mousse, dairy-free, gluten-free chocolate mousse. See, it says actor says, please provide me with your next instruction. Yeah, it can do that sometimes. You know, honestly, realized that GPT-4 does more of this. Suggest portable cooking equipment for on-set use. See, we are still going. See, our status bar is slowly increasing. Okay. We are waiting on GPT-4. Okay, solutions. Prepare a movie theme-based 3-course meal. Consider following portable cooking equipment. Portable induction cooktop, electric countertop grill, electric rice cooker, immersion blender, portable folding table, collapsible mixer. This is pretty cool. I mean, if you were going to do a cooking experience at a, I don't know, get-together, a celebration, like this would give you ideas, totally. I mean, with the name of the meals, gives you ideas of the... Look, it actually explains to you how to kind of make them. Let's see. Yeah, we're done because we did say 5 iterations. So this is pretty cool. I just want to also say, so here are some files here, right? Oh, so we are running on the cloud. Let me actually switch to the local so you can actually see some of the stuff, what's going on here. To run your local files are the exact same as the cloud files that are deployed. Anyway, you have to have a terminal set up. You first need to make sure you're in the right Python environment. Control-Shift-P, select interpreter. I am in the CAMEL environment, which I have created. Okay, right? And then create a command prompt. And then run streamlit run main underscore sd.py, because that's the name, that is the name of our, let me zoom it. It's the name of our file with the streamlit application. When you run this, now a local application will start. See localhost. Here we go. I've actually modified the code so it's just pulling my API key from the whatchamacallit. Anyway, from my environment variables. So now, see, our chat history is none because our chat history.json file is none. Chat history is created and stored as JSON objects. Let's just go with something. Let's go with, let's say, an engineer. Let's say custom role. Engineering student. So you have to pick the roles in a good way so that they don't flip roles. Engineering student talking to an engineer, right, on how to build a bridge. How to build a bridge which doesn't move with the wind, because bridges have a tendency to do that. Click. Task specifier feature, let's select it. Why not? We are using GPT-3. Let's give GPT-4 another try. Or let's keep 3.5 for speed. So we're going to get a... Design a suspension bridge with an innovative stabilization system using lightweight materials such as carbon fiber. All right, develop wind tunnel simulation tests. Anyway, let's go 5 times. Start solving the task. Here we go. So we're going on with it. So engineering student is asking the engineer how to build a suspension bridge which can withstand wind speeds up to 100 miles. So this is our specified task prompt. This is our status bar. First instruction, determine the location for the suspension bridge. To determine the location for suspension, we will conduct a thorough analysis of potential sites. Excuse me. So, I mean, this would be helpful if you were an engineering student. It might give you some ideas. Don't rely on it, obviously. Rely on your teachers, but... So next, determine the maximum weight the bridge needs to support. The weight of the 10 fully loaded semi-trucks can carry depending on the cargo size of the trucks on average, but a fully loaded semi-truck can weigh up to 80,000 pounds. Therefore, to support the weight of 10 fully loaded semi-trucks, the bridge needs to be able to support a weight of at least 800,000 pounds. Determine the wind speed direction. To determine the wind speed and direction of the location, we will conduct a wind study using anemometers and wind vanes. So, are these real things? Probably. Let's see. So the anemometer is, okay, wind speed. Device measures wind speed. Okay. You learn something new every day. And wind vanes study. So you conduct a study, determine the length of the bridge. Determine the length of the bridge. We will consider location, the topography, span required. So this is pretty cool, right? After we're done, see, now it pops up in our chat history. Also as a JSON file right here. The task name, settings. No, mostly the 50 is different. I'll explain that here in a second. Task, name of the task, settings, assistant role name, model, chat turn limit was 5. Conversation is the entire conversation stored here. And consequently stored here. If you were to refresh this and load that conversation, the conversation will load right here. So you can actually revisit your old conversation. Pretty cool. It's all in a JSON file. Export it if you want. Do whatever you like with this. It's a JSON file. If you were to do another one, then it's going to have a new, another task. If you were to do the exact same thing, like assistant role is engineer. I just want to show you something real quick. Custom role was engineering student. Let's copy this from here. Paste it. Task was determine how to build a bridge. Here we go. Enter. And let's just run this one time real quick. So it's going to be quick. And once this is done, but it's going to have the same task name, right? So how can we alleviate the situation with the two of the same task names? Well, this is how it's done. We are enumerating it. How to build a bridge which doesn't move with the wind, number 1. So this is the first one. This is the second one. It puts numbers on it so you can keep some kind of separation. See, so now you know this was the first one. This was the second one. If you click on that, it'll show you that. If you click on the other one, it'll show you that one. You can delete them and boom, they're gone. Right? So the 50 iterations, it's not 50 iterations. So when you click so you saw the 50 here. Do you want to use the task specifier feature? When you click on it, it says, please enter the word limit for the specified task. Here, the default is 50. So that when GPT takes in your task, in this case, how to build a bridge, right? It sends it back to GPT and it's going to get a specified task. So you probably don't want this task to grow into like paragraphs and paragraphs. So this is like a word limit. So it limits it. Then instead of the task, we're using specified task. Then after that, you can, these are your, please enter. These are kind of small. Maybe this could look so much better, but please enter the chat turn limit. So this is where, how many times you want the AIs to chat with one another. I believe the maximum is set to 1,000, but be careful though, they cost money, right? Tokens. I also want to mention, I did build this EcoHive app, AI Academy. I have over 120 plus videos in my YouTube channel. Let me show you. So I have a lot of videos, but it's difficult to search. It's difficult to know like which one is what. So I built this app so you can scroll it. I'm going to make a video on how I built this app too, because this whole app was built pretty much from a CSV file. You can click on it and play whatever video you like. You can just browse through it and the code downloads in it, which will direct you to the appropriate Patreon post. You can look at the info. If you click on info, it'll give you the description from the YouTube video. Here we go. But the cool part is you can search. Like for example, we are dealing with agents, right? In a way, we are dealing with 2 GPT agents. So if you search for agents, we have generative agents, Langchain, async explain, make multiple with the same time. See, LLM calls, chain calls, and agent calls. So it picked up on it because this says agent in the description somewhere, right? And auto-evaluate LLM chains and agents. Langchain custom agents and tools with memory. Langchain agents and tools explain. With code download links, you can play them. With these tests today, $1. Thank you, everyone. Why are you giving code free? It's not free. I mean, it's through Patreon. Code download is available to Patreon supporters, but always I display the full code in the videos, not in live streams like testing and whatnot. But with any video, in the video itself, you'll see the entire code. So anybody can copy, like type out the code from the video if they so want it. But if they want to quickly be able to download it, then they can do it with Patreon. And if you want to search over all the videos like echohive.live, if you want to learn more about like Streamlit, right? We're talking about Streamlit, so here are all the Streamlit related videos, for example. I guess all these videos feature Streamlit. So there's like 10 or 12 of them. No, it's actually 30 bucks. No, that's fine. I mean, you know, no need to be too expensive, I guess. But thank you. Also, appreciate it. I have a $9 tier too. So when I make I'm going to make a video on this application, and I'm going to review the code, both for the terminal version and the Streamlit version. The terminal code download for terminal version is going to be available for $9 patrons, the aficionados. And the Streamlit version will be available for $30 patrons, the connoisseurs. But the link that is in the description of the live has all the files. I mean, both the terminal and this Streamlit version. So feel free to play around with it. When I make the actual video of the code review, then I'll put the appropriate links there. Yeah. So let's continue playing with it a little more. Feel free to make suggestions. Where were we? So refresh. See, our chat history is empty. Our chat history.json file is deleted. Oh, okay. Before we continue, so look, let's take a look at there's a CAMEL agent. It's pretty cool. This is pretty much, I copied this from the Langchain implementation. Inception prompts, assistant inception prompt, user inception prompt. We are importing it. We are importing these right here. See, from CAMEL agent file, import CAMEL agent. From inception prompts, import the prompts. Honestly, when you're coding, get used to storing like these long stuff in a separate file and import them. Like this code already with the Streamlit version is already like almost 300 lines of code. If I were to include the inception prompts in there, another 50 lines, and the agent file, which is another 50, so that's going to be 400 lines of code. And if you're also using ChatGPT, right, or GPT API to help you coding, you're going to run into token limitations and whatnot. So, like, I use a lot of help of GPT-4 while building this app, and it worked fine. If I were to include the prompts, what difference is that going to make? I mean, it'll give additional idea, but especially if it's rewriting the whole code, it's going to have to write this whole thing. So try to store your functions, classes, or prompts in separate files and import them. Then you can use them wherever they're needed. Okay. That being said, let's continue playing with this. So we can select, another thing. So roles are picked from all the roles. I picked these roles from CAMEL's repository. You can modify these roles. Like, for example, this is alphabetical, but should accountant be at the top? I mean, you probably need, I would love programmer to be at the top, and maybe not just any programmer, but Python programmer, maybe. I mean, there's the custom role, but so you can imagine this might work better. Maybe you can actually implement how many times each one. If you're going to turn this into an app like I did, maybe you keep count of which one of the roles were used the most, keep count, and then dynamically pull them to the top every time the app launches or something like that. Anyway, so there's like interpreter, software developer, teacher, technical writer, translator, virtual assistant, writer, zoologist, nutritionist, musician. So you can pick from any one of these for both roles. Please feel free to make suggestions. Let's go with a fitness trainer, right? The user is going to be fitness trainer. And AI is going to be financial advisor. And this could be how to start a profitable, what is it? Fitness coaching business. Let's use GPT-4 again. Let's not use test specifier. Let's go 3 times. The reason why I like this is it's like step-by-step attitude. Yeah, see, this can happen at times. Like it says, fitness trainer now assumes the role of the advisor. But then the financial advisor wants instructions, because that's what it's prompting it to do. It says, as a financial advisor, I cannot provide you with instructions, but I can help you with your instructions. Please give me sound like they're now going back and forth. For some reason, GPT-4 does more of that. Maybe the prompt needs. I'm assuming maybe when whoever group of people were creating this, maybe they were testing the prompt more with the GPT 3.5 or maybe with TextW 003. You could definitely try to modify this prompt and just use GPT-4. Try to get it working well, because if when it works with GPT-4, it's just gonna work so much better, obviously. Anyway, let's switch to GPT 3.5 and run this again. There is currently no way to stop. So if you select too many iterations, there's currently no way to stop it. Okay, but it actually restarted with GPT 3.5 Turbo. That's cool. And this time, the fitness trainer says, define your target audience for fitness coaching business. And this financial advisor says, define your target audience, crucial for success. Gives advice. And determine the services you will offer as a fitness coach. As a fitness coach, you can offer a variety of services. Develop a business plan for fitness coaching. Moral asks an off-topic question. Do you know any easy way to deploy Stateful Diffusion on Google Cloud as service? Yeah, actually, you know what? I did that once, like 7-8 months ago, to build Bubble front and apps. To Stable Diffusion, actually, Echo Hive originally was a text-to-image generation app. Look, I'll show you, actually. I'll have to go all the way down. So if you look at my first original videos, look, welcome to Echo Hive updated. This was my app. Anyway, I shouldn't click on it because it's gonna. So it was a text to image app. Echo option was to create variations and whatnot. Yes, you can deploy it.
I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, yeah. The Amazon Echo thought I was talking to it at the house. Anyway, you can actually I had deployed the app to AWS to an EC2 instance. All you would have to do is really go to Stability SDK, Stability APIs. Take a look. So write your code that works. There should be some examples here somewhere. Platform. Go to platform. See REST API. So there's like some Python code somewhere over here. So once you get your Python code working from stability and local machine, then you would just deploy it to the cloud. That's pretty much it, and set up your connections. No, but that video is not instructional. Honestly, it was just there's no instructions in that. No, there's no code for that too. This was actually I tried this as a commercial app. It didn't succeed at the time. I was using Stable Diffusion for image generations, but I was using GPT 3.5 to autocomplete the prompts. So it was a pretty cool idea. I actually fine-tuned. I actually was using a query model, which I fine-tuned based on human aesthetically judged image prompt pairs of the data set, which are human rated. It was working very well, but it didn't pick up. So I said, I quit. Anyway, let's try another. Let's refresh this. Also, as you see, our chat history is populated with how to start. So how to start a fitness coaching business. We can do a interpreter, maybe marketer. Let's do programmer again. Let's actually do user role is web app builder. It's an aspiring web app builder. And assistant role is going to be a web developer. I'm kind of obsessed with Tailwind CSS, so let's try this again. Right. Enter the task. Write template HTML code for a chatbot with, say, chatbot using only Tailwind CSS. Include chat history. Let's say roles. Make it beautiful with gradient colors. Let's see, nice shadows. So this is our task. Let's try GPT-4 here. Hopefully it'll work. Let's go 10 iterations on this. Moral asks, if a client who needs to generate certain type of building drawings and they only wanted to generate building drawings and I have it in-house, their own pro, so I thought ST would be good. ST might be good, but I would look more to maybe Midjourney for that kind of stuff. I don't know, you'd have to, I haven't played much with text-to-image models lately, so you'd have to just experiment and find which one works best for architectural style. See what works. But this could totally work. I know Midjourney was doing some insane interior design stuff and whatnot. I think they have a version 5 released or something. Just take a look. This might totally work, actually. But I don't know how good Stable Diffusion is going to work, honestly. Stable Diffusion released a new model, too. I forgot what they call it. New Stable Diffusion model. Yeah, I just got an email, but I'll have to take a look. Anyway, let's go back to this. So we are writing a HTML code. Create a basic HTML server for a chatbot template. Good. So we are getting GPT-4 to stick to the roles. Let's see what happens. Solution, basic HTML. Next, at Tailwind CSS, we are waiting. GPT-4 is slow. See, if I were to give this as an instruction to GPT, like say, GPT-4 or something, then I'm just going to get a bunch of code, which is fine. But the beauty of this is it's like so iterative. So you just get a basic code, so you get what this is about. Plus it explains. Then it has the Tailwind CSS on top of it. So I really love the iterative nature of this. Next, add sample chat messages with different roles, style them using Tailwind CSS. Let's see what this looks like so far. Oh, it doesn't have a the inside your body tag. We do have to create the body background. That's fine. Real quick. All right. Do we have this running still? Let's restart this server. I am using the live server. I don't know if you ever want to deal with like HTML, CSS, JavaScript and stuff. There's an extension called live server. See, if you install this in your Visual Studio Code, you'll get this little go live thing right here, down here. And if you have an HTML file and you click, you select your HTML file and then you click go live, it'll actually start a local, quick little local thing to show what your website looks like. Now here's the thing, so this is not working well because it didn't input this, it didn't point to the Tailwind CSS style sheet. It's continuing to add, but it hadn't so far added the Tailwind. This is what we can do. Let me create a test.html, and in your Visual Studio Code, I believe you do exclamation mark HTML or something. How do we do? Oh, HTML5. Yeah, if you just type in HD and then select the HTML5, it'll give you a boilerplate code. So we no longer need this test.html. You can go back to here and make this a full HTML. I'm just going to copy this div inside of here. Don't need this. But we do need the link to the Tailwind CSS CDN. And it's still going, and I hadn't provided it. You can ask, what is the style sheet link? Style sheet CDN link. Tailwind CSS. Really? Is this it? Oh, and the cool thing with live server is you can actually, whenever you make a change, it auto reloads, but I don't think this is it. So GPT 3.5 is just not the best sometimes. Should be a style sheet. I'm not sure which one is it. Do you guys know? Anyway, I hope this process would introduce it, but it didn't. But it keeps adding. See, to a scroll bar. I just really wanted to see how this looks like. We can, you know what? We can actually fix this. Let's just keep adding to it. Add a sample chatbot. Let's put this into our div. Real quick. Let's copy this to GPT-4. Ask, please add, GPT-4 will do this. Please add Tailwind CDN style sheet to this code. So let's get that. in the meantime, we'll continue. Add responsive design to chatbot. It says to add responsive design chatbot, update the chat container. We have a chat container. Yeah, so this is cool that it is iterative, but it also pain in the butt that you have to copy and paste all these. Like, see, it says there's your chat input. Let's get this. Chat input. Chat history. Chat input. Chat message. Probably right here. I hope so. And this one has to be. By the way, if anybody's new here, we are testing the GPT-4 OmniSolver. So you select two user roles, AI-based user role and an AI-based assistant role. Then you give it a task, you define amount of iterations, and it tries to solve your problem iteratively. Add a scroll bar to the chat history. Let's see first if we got to see. This is what we needed. I believe we put it in the head. If we put this here, the style should be activated. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. So what does this do now? Nothing. But it's a chatbot. Let's continue adding a scroll bar to the chat history area. Do we have a chat history area? We don't. So I might have made a mistake copying these. Chat history. We do have that. Anyway, it says responsive design chatbot template. Update the chat container. Let's do that. Oh, gotta do it one by one. Chat input. Are there effective ways to switch prompts? Jack Martin asks. What do you mean? Oh, like for this particular app? Well, you could. So the main application is importing the assistant inception prompt and the user inception prompt from this file. You can here define alternative prompts, right? Like alternative user inception prompt, and write your prompt here, and then now you can import this prompt. Alternative user inception prompt. Now you can use this. So in the code you can, maybe we could have put right here somewhere, maybe checkbox to actually select from multiple prompts and display all the prompts to the user, let them choose. You can do that, just to give you an idea. That's possible. But I mean, these prompts are pretty hardcore. I mean, they must have spent a lot of time on it. But you could, I mean, now that you have access to it, you might want to modify it. And yeah, you could totally do that. So yeah, so this works, right? Somewhat. Actually, if you take the time, I don't want to do it in the live session. I don't want to bore everybody to tears. But if you read and work in conjunction with, some Googling, some interactions with GPT-4, the chat interface, or GPT 3.5, then I believe you can get some interesting, incredible things up and running. I just have to, because this, I realize like this doesn't give full code to you, like the entirety of the code all in one go. Maybe you can specify in the instructions that you want the code to be given as a whole code, maybe at the end of the interaction or something like that. So, but this keeps giving you improvements. You'll not only learn a lot, But if you were to copy and paste these into the right parts in your code, I believe this was going to look pretty spectacular. It already kind of does. Like we did say gradient. You can change the colors of these, obviously. Let's try something else. Where are we? Oh, also like this is keeping track of how many times this was used. I do that somewhere in the code by using the stats.txt. Because if you want to deploy applications to Streamlit, there's no real easy way to keep track of usage. So I came up with this hacky way of doing it. So I created stats.txt file, which originally begins with 0. Right. If we were to save this and refresh this, then this app was used only one time because it added one to it, right? Because we opened the app. And every time we use this, like let's just select anything. Now that we click this button, we refresh it, it's just going to go up to 2 because it is updating the stats file. Oh, it hadn't right. We didn't let the script run. Why didn't stats change? Anyway, this should have updated it. I didn't let the script run. I refreshed it. Probably that's why. So this is a nice way to keep track of it. During somewhere in the script, you say, okay, where is it? So see, so right here after the radio buttons, which are for sidebar, and before I allow the roles for the user and the assistant to be picked, I open that stats file, read it, add 1 to it. Maybe I shouldn't add 1 right here. But this is every time the script reruns, right? Anyway, you can do it any way you like. Then we write this app was used to solve that many tasks. We print it. And then we load the rows. Maybe this should go to where the button is, which is right here. Stats, yeah. So I just noticed task solved +1 should actually happen here, but anyway, that's not a big deal. So it increments every time the app is reloaded. Then I believe is that it. I know it increments because it increments in the deployed app. Let's refresh this. See if anybody had used it during the live stream yet. Twice. So it increments. So this is one way you can do this. Any other questions, suggestions? Please let me know. I also, maybe we can compare it to GPT-4 autocoder. I also built this app called GPT-4 autocoder. It currently only deals with Python. You can watch the video, you can download the code. Anyway, the full code is right here, the second one, if you want the Streamlit and all that. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe the first one has that too now. See, this one was used 4,600 times. We can maybe, let's do this. Let's say we are an analyst and we want to talk to a Python programmer. Let's just try this fun experiment. Task is build a pkinter calculator. Yeah, that's it. So this is our task to the OmniSolver. We're gonna use GPT 3.5. Where is the autocoder? Right here. We're gonna, let me get my API key real quick. We're gonna give this good way to show your API key. This was our task. Build a TK intercalculator right here. So autocoder either takes in an idea or you can paste existing code here. It'll try to improve it. Let's go 3 iterations. And let's go 3 iterations here. This is going to be slower though. Let's go 5 iterations here. Give it because OmniSolver works step by step versus autocoder works more holistically. So let's just get going. And let's get this running too. Let's see what happens. So we are trying to build a TK intercalculator. TK inter is a user interface builder. Hey Haas, thank you, appreciate it. The solution import TK inter. All right. So creating a new window. On the other hand, see we already have a full code here on the autocoder. I'll put this in the chat as well if you want to try this out. The autocoder. The link should be in the chat. So autocoder, what autocoder does is in this case, we give it an idea, it creates a sample code, then it tries to improve on it recursively. But in the case of the OmniSolver, it keeps making it record, create a text box to display the numbers. So it's trying to add that. Create buttons for numbers 0 to 9. Still working on it. This is our status bar. We can create a test.py here and just copy the, oh yeah, once this is done, there should be a copy button right here, but I can just copy this real quick. This is the GPT-4 autocoder. Do we have TK enter? Oh yeah, we do. Interesting. Let's run this. So this is the code from autocoder. All right. This is what it looks like. 2 plus result is 4. It works. So this is the first iteration with autocoder. This is the second iteration with autocoder. Let's see. It explains what it tried to do. Let's replace it. Run it. It still looks the same, but it added a lot of try except blocks for error catching. And 1, 2, 3. This is it. Let's try the third one. Let's run this. Okay. So number 1 is 2, number 2 is 2 plus 4. So this works. If it was minus, then it's 0. Multiplication 2 times 2. If it was 2 times 3, it would have been 6. Division is 0.67. So quickly in 3 iterations, autocoder created this using GPT 3.5 Turbo only. So what did the OmniSolver do? Create a function to handle button clicks. Wow. Oops, is this? So I'm hesitant with autocoder. So with OmniCoder, you probably have to read this and pay attention to what's happening. It doesn't exactly work like the autocoder, right? And it's not designed to do only coding. It's designed to solve any task. Anyway, let's run this. Let's see. Okay, look. So, come on. Essentially, so 2, it's a bit plus 2 with equals. How about enter? So we don't have an enter or the equals. Enter. But look, this is pretty cool. So who won? Well, GPT-4 autocoder wrote a functioning but not so nice looking interface right away. But OmniSolver created a super nice looking one. This is it. Did we use the latest? Oh, I wish it had added. Maybe we should have given it more iterations. I'm really curious now what it would have done. Maybe we'll try this again. See, okay, if it only had the equal button. You know what? Let's run this again, if you don't mind. Let me know if this is boring to you. So another improvement then I'm thinking then is to add maybe the continue. To continue from where left off. We are saving the chat history. So it just would be easy to just let it go, right? That would be a nice addition. Maybe in the future. But let's do 10. Okay, let's do the exact same thing again. And let's give autocoder 5 iterations. Let's use GPT-4. No, let's not cheat. Let's go. So, see, the cool thing is if you have time, honestly, OmniSolver is much more pleasant if you read import tkinter module. So it explains what this does. If you know tkinter, this might sound boring, but if you're dealing with a library that you don't know at all, tkinter window, create a text box. So, but it's very iterative. So we would have to say, copy this, paste it here, and then do it step by step. This is a bit what's annoying. No, not annoying, but time consuming with Omni if you're using it for coding. But it did give a better result. So add this. Because it's iterative, create the buttons. It's probably giving us instructions, so sometimes I'm just adding it to the end. Create a function to handle the button clicks. So we're still going. See our status bar is running right here. In the meantime, this is the first iteration from autocoder. Let's make a test2.py so we separate them. If we were to run this, look, it's a full app in the first run. 2 times 2 equals 4. What is that? Oh, that's the square. The root. 9 minus 2 equals 7. So it works at the first attempt. So this is the second attempt by the autocoder. Let's see if it added anything notable. Yeah, look, it fixed the layout. This looks nicer. 2 plus 2 equals. Oh, but it's not working well. Maybe it'll fix it in the third try. In the meantime, OmniSolver is ongoing. We did this. I believe we did this. Create a function. These are the functions. Function to handle button clicks. Bind it. I believe we put this at the end. Add the following code after creating the buttons. You gotta go to test. Create the buttons. Position the buttons. Okay, so right here, that's fine. Right on. Let's run this real quick, see what it looks like. Oh, it says function attribute has no object bind. To create a function to handle equal button. creating the other functions. Let's put this here. So it's ongoing, right? It's iterative. We can take a look at our status bar. Oh, it's completed. So this was it. Handle the equal. Run the TK inter main loop. To run the at the end. Yeah. Put this at the end. Let's run this. Yeah. Well, let's give this to GPT-4 real quick. With the error message. To include the traceback. Let's see if it'll fix it. In the meantime, let's take a look at autocoder. Let's take a look at the final, whatever final iteration we have. This was test 2. Run this. There we go. Look, this looks much nicer. I'm surprised. Much nicer isn't it got much nicer, but where did the plus go? Is this it? No, that's a dot. Yeah, I no longer see the plus. But how about 4 minus 2 equals? Okay, 3. Well, it looks nice, but 9 times 2 equals. The cool thing with autocoder is that we can grab this and go at the top, insert it. We are dealing with GPT 3.5. I just want to remind you. Oh, also, it's still going. So maybe the final version would be nicer. Let's just wait for it to generate the final version. It's writing a lot of code. But I mean, what we could have done is actually input the entire code and run iterations on it without any instructions, or we can add instructions as like comments. We could say whatever the problem is, maybe in the beginning, or maybe in the at the very top, or as a doc string, and then run iterations on that. But we'll wait for the final one to be concluded, and I will end the live stream as well. Please, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful. Do check out the Echo Hive Live app. You can search 120 plus videos that I've created on my YouTube channel with their infos and code download links to Patreon. You can search it. For example, we were talking about the GPT-4 autocoder. So if I search for autocoder, see, these are all the autocoder videos, for example, related to this app that we were just using. This video for the OmniSolver is not online yet. I also have to add a few more videos to this, but after that, it will be available here as well. We are dealing with a Streamlit user interface, so you can search for that. I don't know, maybe you like radio better for user interface. There's 2 videos on that, or maybe JavaScript. You want to build some stuff with JavaScript front end. There's some videos. Oh, it has some of the shorts too. It shouldn't have. Oh, okay, that's fine. I stopped doing shorts. Or maybe you want to fine tune, like fine tuning. This was a really cool video at the time. You know, you want to learn about Langchain. You can do that. It's echohive.live. Link in the description. Yeah, no problem, Hats. You know, it's yeah, I try to use all the tools that are available. You gotta write code yourself, do research, but might as well save some time with whatever is available, you know? No need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, let's see. Are we done with this? Still generating code, it says. Oh, I'm not sure. I think this restarted. Oh no. You know what? Okay, whatever. So I mean, I think this is pretty good. Check out Autocoder if you like. Check out OmniSolver. Like I said, it has a lot of built-in roles. Try it out. I think it's pretty useful. It's fun, if nothing else. You can download the code at Patreon. This includes all the files, including including the terminal version of this. You can watch this video. This actually is going to link back to this one currently. I'll make another video on this, reviewing the code more in detail, talking about more stuff more concisely. Hopefully maybe later today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one then. Take care.